In this episode of the Rugged Homestead, I'm going to be making a teepee arbor. It's time to plant my squash outdoors. I had started them indoors and have hardened them off. So now it's time to plant them out. So I'm going to be planting them out in the food forest. And I'm going to be making, as I said, a bamboo teepee, except it's more of an arbor because there's a path here that we're going to be able to walk underneath, and so it's not going to encircle the whole area. So this is the pathway in between two planting mounds. I have my cherry tree here on the right, and this was where my persimmon had been planted, but it actually died off last year. It had a lot of problems. A lot of branches ended up being broken out because of the dog. So right now we actually have some lilies here. I've got a tomato back there. Have some rhubarb here. Have a peach tree there. Some flowers, and I have some beans in here. And my problem is I have beans here, and I have beans just outside the chicken coop there, and I can't remember which ones are the bush beans and which ones are the pole beans. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't mark them. I believe these are the pole beans though, and I mean the bush beans, at least I'm hoping so. But right on, and then right in between both planting aisles, I have these stepping stones. These were from my daughters about 20 years ago. We made them, and so I've put them in my backyard here, and they lead up to the deck underneath the grapevines. So on either side of the path, I'm going to be staking the bamboo poles, and they'll arch up at an angle overhead, and then you can walk underneath. What I'll be doing is driving rebar into the ground, and then because bamboo is hollow inside, I'll be drilling a hole through the bottom and then putting it over the PVC, and then I'll tie it up at the top. So as I said, bamboo is hollow, and this one, because I cut it above the joint there, I don't need to drill this one out, but others, like this one here, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but let's see if I can. So it's filled in from the joint, so I'll just take the drill and hollow it out. That looks like it should accept the rebar. So I'm going to go through the bamboo that I have here, cut off certain areas where they might be broken, and then drill out the rest of them. And when I'm done, we'll come back and start driving in the rebar. I'm thinking of spacing them about a foot or so apart and driving them in at an angle. And then I can take a cane and slide it right over. And then that will hold it in place. And then once I have all the canes together, what I'll do is tie them together at the top with a zip tie. Maybe wrap it with some cord to hide the zip tie, and I'll run string all across in between each one so that they squash can then grow up. What I'm going to be growing is a butternut squash. I've got a few different types, so grow them up, and then the fruit will be available to pick easily. Okay, I have the poles in place, and what I'm going to do now is join them at the top with a zip tie. So I'll just cross the parts and then tie them up. As you can see, I added some cross braces on either side. Just use zip ties to hold it together. I could have used the twine, but zip ties are really easy. And I'll just knock off these tails on them. Just gives it a little bit more rigidity. I mean, it's not going to be a house, but it makes it more secure. Plus, I'm going to now run string or twine across each of the pieces every 6 inches or so, and just go up all the way to the top, and that'll give the squash something to hold on to. It's a little short for me to walk through easily, but I can still get through if I needed to. We got all the strings onto the teepees, and as I said, put the cross brace in the middle, and it's actually fairly sturdy. I mean, again, it's not rock solid, but that should hold the butternut squash vine as it's growing. So that'll be what I do next. I'll plant one at the base of each of these poles and let them grow up the trellis. Well, we got it planted in. We've got 4 butternut squash on this side and 3 butternut squash on this side, and a cucumber. One of my squash plants apparently was bitten off by something, so I've got a cucumber in, and I've given it all a bunch of blood meal and bone meal, so that yellowish flower or leaf will hopefully green up, and you'll get a good kickstart to start growing. By the autumn, I'm looking forward to this thing being covered in vines on both sides and having lots of butternut squash hanging off. Next year, if and when I do this, I think I'll get 10-foot high bamboo poles and put it in a place where I'll be able to spread them further apart, because this is about head high for me in my I have to duck down to be able to get through, so it's not very comfortable, but it should still provide lots of airflow through here as the vines are growing up. All right, so like what you see, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you don't already do so, and click that notification bell, and that way you'll be notified right away when videos like this are posted. Okay, thanks for watching.